Hi everyone, this is Janine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's dive right in. I have viewed this semester as a journey of learning how my writing and research is not just academic exercises, but really something that is a reflection of myself. I take personal voice, my own and others, very seriously, but not so seriously in the sense that I love being able to see myself in the writing. So it's not just robotic, it's like, this is Janine and this is her work. And I'm very proud of that fact. So, something I've learned and something that I thought of immediately when thinking about this task was our first video introductions for this course. And it made me think about what other work should I be revisiting and what should I revisit as I move forward with coursework and also professional job life. Um, I remember taking English 562 last year in fall of 2024, and I think that is what set me on the path that led me here to thinking about outdoor research and outdoor engagement. I think that course sparked my passion for discussing engagement with outdoor recreation, and this semester in this class, I'm really thankful for as it has allowed me to expand and sustain those ideas. Now I have large bodies of work, discussion posts, multimodal projects, research, presentations, etc., etc., etc. And I think all that has demonstrated how I've maintained and deepened those commitments. And the commitment in question is outdoor representation, outdoor engagement, getting underrepresented communities to engage with areas that historically they have been left out of, or make them feel that they do not belong there. And I think personally with that, thinking about personal voice, I think a lot of that has to do with my own identity being a Mexican American woman. So I've felt like that in spaces, but I've learned to just trust myself. I do belong here, right? Um, so yeah, just something I was thinking about is like, oh, the past and the future, all this stuff. So, meeting my goals, I think about the lessons I've learned throughout these assignments and whether or not I've had like actual goals in mind or if I was able to commit myself to something and I saw some type of change. So, discussion posts and peer exchanges, I think this really taught me the value of dialogue, which I've always loved. I love talking to people and I love reading people's work. But I think this class, I love the learning from each other aspects. When people would mention me or when I would mention people, I always think like, oh, like I hope they read this, just because there's so much that I learned from my classmates' perspectives that expanded my own thinking, especially when they approached text differently than I did. Discussion number 4 comes to mind because I feel like that was a turning point for me, engaging with the Torres and Reyes texts, Kincheloe and Jurgens and Blue Swadner, and Matua. Apologies if I did not pronounce that correctly. I did try looking them up before. And I think all of them reshaped my understanding of research as a praxis. And I realized that inquiry can be collaborative, accountable, and decolonizing. And as I thought about all of the work that we've done collectively of the learning from each other and everything that I've learned from them, that in itself I think was collaborative. It is. And it helped me refine my own research and my own discussion post, task, or discussions. And I hope that did the same for everyone else. I think from all of this really inspired my research question that I ended up landing on for the task 4 and task 3 is what linguistic or visual cues do student populations identify as inviting or alienating in outdoor programming messaging? I really like that question. Could it do better? Mayhaps. Could there be other things to go on? Of course. But that's just something that I'm really hanging on to. Something that I wanted to do this course, but also something I want to do in general for all of my coursework is expanding with visuals and narrative voice, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. I think it shows how meaning can shift between text and also like thinking about images, audio design, which is what I was navigating for my task and my research, thinking about campus recreation, their Instagram, the videos that they're putting up, the photos that are putting up, even their thumbnails. As like a little aside, I noticed that their thumbnails would be like, oh, like this person's rock climbing, but that photo would not be in the video itself. It was just like a thumbnail. So I'm wondering like, oh, when was this photo taken? Who is that? And I think that's just like a little note. I'm thinking about specifically a photo of someone rock climbing, and it looks like someone I know, and I was like, oh, they're in this video, that's so interesting, and they were not in the video. But anyways, and I learned that from that multimodality it's not just decoration or like a thumbnail, but it's a way of deepening clarity and providing some accessibility. For my research paper and final project, I was mindful of the fact that this is something that I could use for 686, and I wanted to grow more confident in weaving in evidence, or I want to become more confident just because I don't want to lose my voice, but I also want to be mindful of the voices that provided that work. Next up, peer review reflections. Peer review was one of, like I mentioned before, from the learning from each other, was one of the most meaningful parts of this course for me. I aim to balance affirmation of myself while also being mindful of like what are the things that I do not know, and that's where like the constructive critique comes in. I think when I'm imagining my classmates' voices and how they interpreted readings, whether it aligned with my own or not that it was like controversial or anything, but I just think it's so amazing how much you could take from just one text. I would also like to personally thank Lila Kian, who has been such an amazing and supportive person to me. She has all the qualities of and makings of an excellent student, a teacher, a friend, and her feedback helped me see the importance of tying my notes and work back together to ensure clarity and flow, because oftentimes I would have like this idea in my head, but I would never get to that point of connecting it. So that might also be another goal, making sure I'm just, dotting my I's and crossing my T's, is I think the saying. Her encouragement reminded me that peer review is not just about pointing out weaknesses, but fostering a sense of like confidence and connection. You have the work. Here's how you make your work better. I think my strength as a reviewer was offering some concise and supportive feedback. I really liked working with Lila, and I think something that was really helpful for me with that is that I know a lot of her background, having did the undergrad together for secondary ed English, and also we worked together for Upward Bound Math and Science, which was honestly such an amazing and transformative experience, I want to say, for the both of us. I know for Lila, it's something that her and I talk about whenever we meet up, and talking about the students and the kids we were able to work with that summer. So it was really nice to be able to think about that and have an understanding of someone. Some strategies for continued growth. I want to expand some multimodal fluency, experiment with audio narration here, video editing, which I guess, all the things, and design tools to make research all the more engaging. I got feedback from task 2 to include marketing, design, literature, and I had so much diving into articles and thinking about how something as simple as color can change how someone walks on a trail or doesn't walk on a trail, or like, is this sign going to make people like actually follow the trail, or is it going to disrupt the ecosystem and the nature because they're stepping off trail? And I just thought that was so amazing and so cool. So that's something I definitely want to keep doing, and tying in so many other areas back into what I'm doing here. And then I think the last thing for research, I want to refine research instruments, thinking about improving some surveys, interviews to ensure inclusivity and broader representation, because I think my surveys and my interview questions we could work on. Overall, I'd say I've mentioned the evidence above for like the work that I've done. As just like an aside, I want to say another strategy that I'm doing, and something I think for evidence of like progress too, is that I learned that I work really well with a running doc. And I'm very proud of that fact. I tell a lot of people about it because it works really well for my brain. I used to do like, oh, discussion 1 is one post, or discussion 2 is, or not another post, but discussion 1 is one doc, discussion 2 is another. And I learned that if I just put it all in one doc, it's all there, and I could always refer back on this little side tab. And that really changed things for me this semester, so I'm really proud of that. Just want to put that out there. So I'm really excited to move forward with that and understanding how my brain works. So that way I'm able to continue to push myself and refer back to things and have it in one place, because it's going to be amazing next semester when I'm like, okay, what was I doing? And it's all on one doc. So love that. Overall, I'd give myself a strong grade, probably an A. Not because my work was flawless, it was not, but I think my growth was consistent and intentional. I know that I need to refine some things, and I know that because of the feedback that I've received. And I take that, I don't want to say personally, not in a bad way, but more so like I'm going to take this with me because it's really important. I want to improve, especially in all of the things that I mentioned, like peer review, the multimodal expansion, especially, and being able to integrate that with my work, I think is great. And I want to leave this course more confident and creative, and I think I'm there. So, very proud. Thank you.